So, mindfulness. It's a little bit difficult to talk about it because of the fact that this word has been loaded with various meanings, various definitions. You know, this big Western movement called mindfulness, and this is not what we are talking in Buddhism. Of course, it has an interesting part because it can be addressed to non-Buddhist people, and it can benefit non-Buddhist people by bringing the capacity or the possibility to calm the mind down, to pacify the thoughts, so somehow to be calmer and to be more focused, more productive in whatever they are doing. So whatever can calm down the people and bring them to have a better concentration or better focus is good. It's undeniably good. Yet, when we are talking about mindfulness or being mindful within Buddhism, and particularly Tibetan Buddhism, this is not what we are talking about, because the awareness we do work on and we try to develop is also based on a certain amount of other factors which are important, such as the nature of the reality. You know, being mindful means to be in the present moment with less disturbance as possible in the mind, and less disturbance in the mind for us is based on the understanding of the true nature of phenomena. So it is not just I'm focusing on the present moment and my present self as I always did. I mean, with this understanding of ignorance. Otherwise, what you are mindful of? You are mindful of your ego, and you are focusing on your ego in a way. Yes, so this is not really what we are trying to achieve within Buddhism. Within Buddhism is not the strengthening of the ego, which should be done, but at the contrary, a good understanding of the non-inherent existence of that concept of a self, which is through the analytical meditation quite difficult to find. And because it is difficult, impossible to really find, then you understand that there is no self as we would define it. And if there is no self as we would define it, then there might not be a reality as we tend to believe. So suddenly, the mindfulness is completely different. It's not just to be present in the current moment. It's to be aware of the nature, both of the mind and of whatever that mind can observe, understanding that everything that mind observes is based on what that mind has created in the past. You understand? It's a little bit more complete. It's a little bit more deep than a mere meditation on the present moment. It really deserves to be explained and practiced with a little bit more depth than a simple meditation. And again, whatever people place on the word meditation. The fact is, on a daily basis, we are not much aware of what is happening, because instead of being really present in every moment of the life we are living, we are a lot carried away by our disturbed emotion, our fear for this, our fear for that, our projection upon one thing or upon another. So we are not really present. And this is somehow the paradox of nowadays, is on 24 hours, how many seconds are we present? We are spending a lot of time in the past, a lot of time in the future, and even when we are dealing with a situation of the present moment, we are engaged in a lot of disturbances, a lot of disturbed emotions. So that's why I wanted to take the topic of mindfulness today, or being more mindful, being more aware, developing a certain awareness in the daily life, because it is something rather fundamental. Fundamental in the sense that without it, whatever you do, you are not doing it fully, you are not doing it with the right understanding, neither with the right motivation. I mean, besides any understanding, besides any analysis, we have a particular motivation which should pervade everything in our daily life, which is bodhicitta. Why do I live? What is the goal of my existence, and what is the goal of my spiritual development? It is bodhicitta. So I try to live, to enter into actions, to enter into activities, because I wish to help as many beings as possible. So everything should have the taste of bodhicitta within our field of experiences. And this is part of my awareness. The awareness is I'm conscious of the present moment, and moment after moment, I try to see how I can help the others. If I can engage myself into some actions, whatever they are, thinking it can be beneficial for the others, I do it. If I have nothing to engage into right now, right here, then I meditate, I practice, I recite mantras, I do a sadhana, aiming at helping sentient beings, because when I work on my spiritual development, when I work on purification of negative karma with the right motivation, it is a practice of a bodhisattva. Yes. So that core motivation is very important. It is important to practice it every day, so that it does not require a particular attention even. In the sense that it is there. All what I do, of course, the moment you realize it, you don't ask yourself anymore. It becomes a main motivation. It becomes really, it mixes with your main mind. So whatever you do is done with the background of bodhicitta. Till then, we need to remind ourselves from time to time, so that we don't forget why we do practice. And it is important because that question, why do I practice? Why do I live? What is the goal of my existence? Is also helping us to be more patient, to be more ethical, more concentrated, and so on. One of our main disturbance throughout our days is impatience. And from that impatience, anger can arise, all kind of disturbance can arise. I'm impatient for many things, impatient in front of the suffering, and impatient in front of many sorts of suffering. When something is painful or that I feel as negative or disturbing, my level of patience is defining if I will engage into this or that disturbed emotion, such as irritation, anger, jealousy, and so on. So patience is incredibly important as part of our practice. Patience is also helping us to have the right focus. Instead of having a mind which is jumping from a thought to another constantly, patience is also what keeps me here and allow me to engage into meditation. Meditation is at the core of our practice. If we do not learn how to pacify the mind, how to concentrate the mind, then most of the other practice will not be very fruitful. Even when you recite a mantra, if you recite a mantra thinking about something else, it will not bear the fruit that you are expecting. When you recite one mantra, that mantra should be recited with the proper pacified mind, with the proper undisturbed thoughts, undisturbed mind. If we let the mind to be disturbed constantly, at no moment we will be able to see the true nature of our mind. And meditation is not just I sit and I think about nothing. Meditation is I generate the proper motivation. I sit or not, according to what we decide. But let's say I sit. I calm my body. I calm my mind. I choose after the method I will follow, according to which meditation I want to do. But say we want to pacify the mind and we choose to follow the Shine type of meditation, then I will take an object of meditation and I will focus my mind on it. And I will be patient with myself because it's not easy to remain focused on one object for a certain amount of time. But if we don't do it, it will not happen by itself. We cannot say, oh yes, I'm Buddhist since 25 years or 30 years, so you know, I know how to meditate. It's not the number of years that bring meditation skills. It's not more years have passed since you took refuge or since you entered into your spiritual path, which define how good you are in your meditation. This I have observed, unfortunately, by practice, by experience. We can see some people who are in Dharma since long time, very long time, sometime. And their level of meditation is very weak. Sometimes I'm surprised to observe some practitioner who do not show the signs of having meditated. They are very quickly disturbed. They are quickly entering into gossips. They are quickly entering into all kind of disturbed action of body, speech, and mind. And I understood that they don't know how to meditate. It is sometimes so obvious that practitioners should meditate, should know how to meditate, that the emphasis is not placed on it. The emphasis, according to different centers, according to different teachers, the emphasis will be placed on the rituals, or will be placed on this practice or that practice. And of course, it is good. I'm not judging in any way, or I'm not trying to define what is good and what is not. But the emphasis is placed on a practice, let's say, because that center or this center is more specialized in medicine Buddha, in Vajrayogini, in Yamantaka, this and that. And the preliminaries are not questioned. Somebody arrives, I'm Buddhist since 20 years, no problem, this is our practice, let's sit and do the sadhana. Okay, good. But we are doing a practice, or we are just doing an academical reading, in the sense we sit, we read the text. Okay, you can sit, you can read the text perfectly, you can memorize even the text by heart, you can know all the rituals, you take the dorje and the bell, and you know when to sprinkle your finger with this, with the dutsi, with this and that. You can be excellent into that, which personally I'm not actually. But somebody can be extremely skillful in all these rituals, and not necessarily be a good practitioner, because the good practice is not coming from this capacity to read or capacity to engage into a ritual. The good practice is observed from the quality or the capacity to pacify the mind. Without to pacify the mind, which comes from meditation, everything else loses its depth, I would say. Yes. So again, we can learn a lot of practices, and we can know a lot of texts, and we can speak Tibetan fluently, for example, or Sanskrit fluently as well. And this is not what makes of you a practitioner. What I observed through the years, 35 years now that I entered Nalanda Monastery, is that if somebody knows how to meditate, he becomes a good practitioner. If somebody does not know how to meditate, it's very difficult to achieve anything. Doesn't mean nothing is achieved, of course, because even without a good meditation, if you do the prostrations, if you do the purification mantras, if you do the purification practice, it has an impact, of course, yes. You accumulate merit, you do some practice, some purification. But unfortunately, it will not bring as much result as it could if your mind could be focused properly and calm, overall calm, peaceful. Yes, peace is something which is also very important, and it's not just peace between the culture, or it's not just wishing there is no border between countries and region, and that country, and just to wish or to be militant, or I don't know, to be advocate for stopping the nuclear weapons and so on. It's not this peace. This is just the reflection of your own mind. You see outside what you have created the causes for. So when I talk about peace, I talk about inner peace, your capacity to remain calm in any situation, in any circumstances. Because if we analyze life, even not spiritually speaking, but rationally speaking, to be stressed, to be in fear, to be angry does not help anything. It does not help to solve anything. It does not help you to understand better. So all these disturbed emotions need to be pacified in order to enter into the right state of mind, which can lead you to perceive, to realize topics such as the true nature of phenomena. And the true nature of phenomena is leading to the key out of samsara. Yes, if we talk about liberation from samsara, it is based on the three pillars of the path, as you might remember: renunciation, bodhicitta, emptiness. Yes, once you practice the three pillars of the path, then it leads you out of suffering, which again is not necessarily equal to lead you out of samsara. Yes, I think we talked a little bit last time already about it. In the bottom of the contract, when you enter on the Mahayana path, there were some very little line which says that you will stay as long as there are beings to help. Yes, so don't think that because you will realize emptiness, or even that you will realize Buddhahood, you will find yourself away and never back into the samsara. It's not the case, and it's not even the goal, as a matter of fact. So if it is not the goal, that goal will be achieved, that you might stay in the samsara, but in a completely different circumstance. You might be in the samsara, but you might not be in the suffering of the samsara. You might not be in the suffering of the samsara because you might not have created the causes for the suffering of the samsara. If you have realized emptiness, you are out of this negative causality, or this causality bringing you suffering. That might be ended when you realize the true nature of phenomena directly. This was just a little bracket in the context. On a daily basis, whatever circumstances you face, your sickness of the others, trouble of the others, trouble for yourself, if the mind is peaceful, it's much easier to find a solution. It's much easier to analyze, to go deeper into finding the roots of the trouble and finding the solution. Here also I start a bracket, which is Western psychology versus Dharma psychology. The approach is radically different. Of course, there are many different types of psychology, but if we would just make a kind of caricature, we would have on one side this Western type of thinking in front of a problem, which start with you. You try to find yourself, define yourself. And once you have defined yourself, you try to strengthen yourself, to become strong, to become powerful, to find yourself in all its aspects. And once you have become strong, you will be able to overcome the problem. The problem that in the meantime, as you were looking for yourself, you were also analyzing the problem to put a name on it, to since how long you have this problem and what are the roots, and maybe that problem has roots back to your ancestors. So it's not just you, it's the whole line of the old family line behind you. You can go very far to find that, okay, there was this problem maybe some centuries ago, and I mean, okay, a long process of trying to strengthen your space self, and in order to overcome this problem. You understand also the time it takes, and you understand the energy it takes, and the direction that your mind is taking. From a Dharma point of view, the approach is quite different, because when you have a problem, or when you think you have a problem, the first question that you ask is, where is the problem? And who is seeing this problem? So where is the problem means, is there a problem? What is in my mind takes so much place, takes so much effort, give me so much pain. Is it a problem? Or did I make out of it a problem in the past, crystallize it as a problem, and make of it something that comes to my mind every day, again and again and again? In my mind, the mind of who? Who is thinking about the problem? Who is behind the problem, or what I thought or what I defined as a problem? You understand the difference? At the end, you understand that what you observed and what you experimented or experienced is the result, or was the result, of some causes you have accumulated in the past. It was an experience. The way your mind observed it and the way your mind took it, it became a problem. But nowadays, I look at it, is it still a problem? Is it still something worth disturbing my mind and blocking my spiritual development and my possibility to help the others? Especially understanding that who I think is observing the problem does not exist the way I thought. I thought it was existing this or that way, but if I look carefully, if I try to find where is the self, I will not find it. If I try to cut in pieces all the element of what makes that self, or that feeling of self existing, I might not find it. So at the end, there is no problem. And we realize that with what we considered as a problem was not a problem. And who we considered to be a true self-inherently existing, also is not existing. So there is a kind of elimination of obstacles. You end up free, you end up peaceful. You don't end up with a strong ego able to smash any kind of situation in your life, tough and strong. No. It's completely different. Okay, I closed the bracket. A little bit long one, but I think it is important sometimes to remind ourselves some very core aspect of our daily life, both in the way we perceive things and in the way they can or not affect us. Yes. So once we have the right approach to what we used to call problems, once we have the right approach to daily circumstances, meaning understanding the true nature of what we observe, understanding the true nature of every phenomena which is making our daily life, then the mind is much less disturbed, much less prone to be angry or impatient. Yes, there are so many things on a daily basis that could disturb us. Though if you look at it correctly, it does not, because there is no need for it, because there is no meaning for it. It's just a game of the mind, a trick of our mind used to work in this way, used to be disturbed by this or by that. But in the Dharma, we have all the keys. We have all the elements which help us to not cling to one thing or to another, to be afraid of one thing or another. This brings in mind, of course, the concept of impermanence. Yes, I think we tend to forget it because we are built in such a way, we are educated in such a way that we are eternal. We are eternal and everything is eternal around us. I mean, we don't think easily that we can pass away tonight or that anybody else around us can pass away tonight, whatever the age, whatever the condition. Of course, when we see somebody who is 80 years old and cancer, okay, we accept the idea that it might be the end quite soon, and we are not so disturbed by it because beside the lack we can experience, we understand the logic of it. But this is not the meaning of impermanence. This is a plan. This is a plan of life in a way. The plan of life is you reach a certain age, sick or not, you will pass away. Nobody ever came out of life alive. So at the moment you're born, you will die. There is no doubt. The only uncertainty is when and how, eventually, because it is highly based on what you have done. It is based on the causes you have accumulated, or the others, for that matter. Yeah. So if anybody around you gets sick and pass away, this is because the causes were accumulated by that person and by yourself, since you have also accumulated what you perceive, which does not by any means imply that you are the cause of the death of anyone. Yes, I can see sometimes this kind of guilty way of analyzing a situation. So if one of your children, for example, gets sick and would die, it's not your fault. You did not create the cause to kill your child. Yes, this is absolutely not what is in the understanding, the right understanding. But you have accumulated yourself the cause that somebody disappeared from your life. Yes, and that being might have created the cause to pass away. That this is different. But since we are in a quite strongly guilt-embedded society, it is important to understand causality as well as possible. Also to keep this piece in mind, because it should be part of our meditation. It should be part of our practice to meditate on impermanence. Yes, everything that arises ends, everything that born dies. This is a law. This is a law of causality. Yes, so give some minutes from time to time, as often as possible, as a matter of fact, to ask yourself, to meditate on impermanence. If this and that would happen, this situation or that situation would change radically. If my loving husband, wife, kids, parents, uncle, whatever, pass away, how would I react? Well, This is impermanence. Everything is prone to disappear. We need to integrate this. It is not depressing. It is not, how do we say, developing dark thoughts or no. It's fact. Fact is our current existence is ruled by the law of causality. And if I mention this, and I say it's because it is part of pacifying the mind. Yes, because constantly we are afraid of losing something, someone, somehow. And that fear participates to our disturbance. The less you will have this kind of fear, the more your mind will be peaceful. Yes. So it is important to keep in mind the need to meditate properly, the need through meditation to pacify your mind. And through this process, you acquire this awareness, which makes you able to live fully, to be fully perceiving what is part of your reality in all its aspects. Yes. And when you reach that awareness is beneficial in every aspect of the life. Job, studies, spiritual practice, of course. Surely family life. Yes, because we see all the little details. Who does what when, without the intention of it, without to have a focus on it. Just spontaneously you are aware of what is happening. And when you are in the position of helping the others, because of your job and because of your activity, that awareness becomes even fundamental. You are able to gather all the necessary pieces of the puzzle, leading you to understand the situation and to help the situation, the being, the project, or any kind of situations. Voila. I think this is most of what I wanted to remind you, to remind myself. I mean, we need to remind ourselves often and often about all these matters. It's not just something which is in the book. It's not something that we should think about from time to time. It's very often, whenever you have, whatever, 1 second, 2 seconds, 10 seconds, ask yourself, what is in my mind? How is my mind right now? And what do I want out of it, from it, of it? Peace. I want to have peace. I want to be peaceful. How do I reach this peace? I reach it by a proper meditation. And it does not fall on me like a ripe fruit. I have to cultivate it. I have to place my mind in a state of meditation as often as possible, even just for a few minutes. Because the more often I will bring my mind in that state of meditation, and the more accustomed I will be, and the more spontaneously it will come. Yes, the better it will just establish itself. This is what we are looking for. It's a kind of effortless state of meditation, effortless state of awareness. You practice it so much, so well, so peacefully, that it finds its way to stay. to be present, or to be quickly accessible, at least, even if you lose it at time because of strong emotion, strong desire, strong grasping on this and that. But at the moment you realize that you are angry, or that you are grasping at a phenomena, very quickly the mind finds back its peace, or its liberated state of mind. I'm not talking about Buddhahood and high realization yet. I'm talking about Shine, yes, the mental pacification. So do practice meditation as often as you can, whenever you can, and every day you have a lot of opportunities. It's good to have your formal time of meditation, of course, yes. If you have 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes per day that you can sit down, that you can be fully engaged into the practice of meditation, it is good. It is necessary in many ways. But beside this moment, these moments, if you can do it in the morning and in the evening, it is even better. But beside these moments, multiply the moment of awareness, the moment of mental pacification. Whenever you are just walking, you are just at the window looking outside. You know, I cannot count I cannot list the situation that we can transform. They are numerous. They are making our life. They are making our reality. So we can make of our reality something peaceful, or we can make of our reality something hellish. This is just a state of mind. Yes, this is what all the lamas were, or monks who have been in jail or in a working camp in Tibet. This is always what they explained. The difference between a happy monk and an unhappy monk is not the outside circumstances. It's the inner state of mind, the way we understand the reality and the way we face this reality through meditation. So try really to be very mindful, but in the sense of that particular spiritual awareness, which includes the three pillars, which includes selflessness, which includes the understanding of the law of causality and impermanence. If you can remind yourself of these every day, your mind will quickly develop pacified state. And out of this pacified state, your practice will become much more fruitful. And from the personal, family, professional life, everything will be also more clear and will bring you more results. Voila. Now I'm done for today. I wish you a good evening, a good meditation, a good awareness, and see you soon.